This video goes out to all the Starscream fans, because I know just how much you love this. Today's a concentrated, overly detailed analysis of Starscream's wing motions as a part of his physical expression of emotions. I would like to thank the community for helping me this time with my research. A while back, I posted some of my observations on my Tumblr, and among the 1,000-something likes, reblogs, and comments, I read what you noticed and incorporated it all into the video. Regardless, here is a disclaimer: as hard as I try, there might be some specific movement that Starscream makes that I miss. If so, we can discuss it in the comments, but I just might take every damn Starscream scene to avoid this. There are a number of obstacles that one encounters when trying to read Starscream's emotions by body language alone. Number 1, his smaller wings can be angled to indicate a variation of an emotion. By a rule, his larger wings will convey his main emotion, but the smaller ones might add extra meaning to the emotion by how they tilt. Usually, they indicate alertness. Number 2, the speed in which he moves his wings. The same positions may be reached, but either by a swift movement or a slow one. When swift, this can indicate a flash between emotions, surprise, shock, or just that Starscream is in an unstable state. We will discuss specific examples later. Number 3, it depends on who is around and what the mood is. Sometimes, Starscream may feel similar emotions in different scenes and present himself differently depending on who is near him. Certain characters easily trigger stress in him, leading to dramatic behavior and him acting pitiful. Others, he feels more comfortable with, thus maintains a mostly normal wing position even when aggravated. Regardless, everything is explainable. I will answer any questions you have in the comments to the best of my ability. Reason to emote. Our reality shapes Cybertronian biology. Alright, before the examples, let's talk about why the heck we are talking about this in the first place. What were the animators' intentions? People out there spent many hours deciding how they were going to animate Starscream, and since we see patterns, we know something was making sense to them. Starscream's wing movements follow human body posture plus the ear movements of animals. When we are angry, we incline toward our foe and broaden up, and attacking animals point up their ears. If Starscream is nervous, he is like a defensive animal that turns back their ears, or a human who leans away from their aggressor. So this video is not just Starscream fans making up hooey, it is based on real-life emoting and the choices of the animators. And these choices are beyond Starscream, it is established Cybertronian behavior. They repeat the same movements in other characters to thoroughly express what they are feeling. Now I know the fans love calling this seeker behavior, but it's not necessarily true. When we look at Dreadwing or Skyquake, they have fixed wings that do not move. The thing is, if a Cybertronian has movable back parts, then they will move naturally to correspond with the Cybertronian's mood. It may be likely that many Seekers do this since they would have back parts, and if they did, then it would be easier to read their emotions based simply on how large their wings are. Let's not forget just how dramatic Starscream can be, which is why we have the opportunity to go into depth like this. He basically has giant signs on him at all times announcing exactly what he's feeling. Viewers will notice an increase in his wing movements in Season 3. The reason behind this is because the producers noticed how much we liked it. Nevertheless, we need to explain it within the context of the show, which we can do quite easily. There are still patterns to analyze. We can understand Starscream's emoting in Season 3 as a result of his increased stress and clinging dependence to Megatron. Starscream still behaves calmly around certain characters and strongly on edge around others. So I think this will be a solid explanation for everyone. Pinpointing his different positions. The normal position. Starscream's regular wing position with all wings comfortably spread apart and raised. Now although this is a standard position, pinpointing his exact mood when he is like this is actually difficult. However, you can be sure that Starscream is feeling sure of himself when he is like this. He can be annoyed or slightly afraid, but he still maintains enough confidence that nothing horrible will happen to him. This can be a good or bad thing, and you have reason to be cautious around him in this position. On one hand, Starscream might be relaxed in your presence and trust you. We see that no matter how upset Starscream is while venting, he does not show it in his wings because Knockout calms him, whether either of them realizes it or not. On the other hand, Starscream always has this position when he is scheming, lying, or taking vengeance. This puts the Autobots in a doubtful position, and Megatron cannot tell with a glance at him if he is up to something. See, Starscream does not fear the Autobots like he does certain others, and in Season 1, he does not fear Megatron nearly as much as he does later. So in the earlier episodes, we do not see much variation in wing movements because Starscream is disguising his emotions. He does not expect to be killed, so he remains calm and does not crumple. They cannot tell if he is lying or genuine, if he will remain mellow or attack them when they turn their backs. Sometimes we see him restraining himself into this position despite flares of anger, so that others don't know he is bothered. Consider how important this position is for Starscream's image. See, his wings and shoulders broaden him out and make him look larger and collected. A lot of Starscream's wideness and height comes from his wings. If we remove them, we would see just how thin he is. His arms, joints, waist, and limbs are more delicate than those of the average character. The wings help him look more imposing, but the moment he wants to appear pitiful and non-threatening, he moves them to reveal his smallness. Starscream is aware of his size, is often frustrated when he is not taken seriously, but he uses it to his advantage when absolutely necessary. This is partially conscious, but otherwise a natural response. The stress position. In this one, Starscream's wings are at the same height as each other, a medium level, and squeezed behind his back. Generally, the tighter they are squeezed, the more nervous or stressed he is. He may slightly move them back, shifting from the normal position, if something frightening is being said to him. He also presses them back when someone suddenly gets into his space, for in general his body is leaning away from the threat. This position usually includes some sort of trembling or flinching. This raises a question, however. What causes Starscream to react this way, with wings pressed back instead of lowered? We see in one case, they go back tight, while in another, all fall down. The fearful position. So what causes Starscream to react differently is how broken his spirit is. What I mean is if he feels inside that he is small and breakable, he will present himself that way. This is most seen when his mentality is warped after rejoining the Decepticons. He no longer feels on par with everyone else, that he is useless and barely wanted. When he is scared, he feels the need to act, yes I must say it, cute. As in, miserable and not worth harming. If his deceptive, confident position is raised wings, then his fearful position puts them all down. Far down, as if to say, I would not do anything bad, I am not capable of it. He is aware of what his body is doing, and he tries to replicate it when he is about to announce his mistake to Megatron. It is very bad news, and he wants Megatron to automatically see that he is not a threat who plotted to usurp him. However, Starscream forgets to lower the top two wings, so we know that in this case, Starscream is faking it. To some extent, Starscream feels awkward about acting pathetic. When he realizes he did not need to act that way, he is baffled, and he tries to recover. He does it because it is effective. Megatron will get exasperated, but not feel a need to kill him. Starscream still gets beaten after the zombie outbreak, despite a full fearful display of trembling, hand raising, wing lowering, and even a squeak. However, Megatron keeps him alive despite the horrible damage Starscream has caused. Megatron did believe Starscream accidentally did this, instead of it being a failed plot to kill him. The habit becomes so powerful that it occurs more frequently over time, like a knee-jerk reaction to any larger Cybertronian who poses a threat to him. One thing to note is that Starscream is quick to spill secrets if he is afraid. If Starscream is caught in a nervous or fearful position, he has lost his confidence, and you can feel more certain that he is telling the truth to you. Scared beyond reason. Sometimes Megatron terrifies Starscream, but Starscream has a method to avoid his wrath. With enemies that he cannot handle, Starscream is too afraid to control his thoughts and actions. His wings might fall all over the place at different angles. The annoyed or uncomfortable position is very close to the stress position. Sometimes, they fall into the same positions. Mostly, Starscream will press back his wings, but have them perked up higher than when he is nervous. It is easy enough to know that any time his wings press back, he is in a negative mood. Starscream can be in this position even when separated from the others, for his thoughts tense up his entire body. If Starscream is cornered, but not convinced that he is going to get hurt, his wings squeeze up like this. Sometimes, even in his discomfort, his smaller wings will incline forward. Often, the smaller wings indicate alertness or interest in something happening in front of him that the rest of his body wants to lean away from. When Megatron is yelling at him, Starscream is startled into attention and very uncomfortable at the same time. Or, for a brief moment, he shows annoyance at Predaking after his moment of fear. This position can occur very quickly, a micro-expression of his true emotion before he hides it or calms it. The surprised or worried position. Something that surprises Starscream in a bad way causes his wings to drop sideways and stay opened up. Hearing news he doesn't like or seeing something he doesn't like can cause this position. Or just general worry can cause the wings to lower slightly. He's not sad or scared enough to drop them completely, but he's displaying signs of a miserable feeling. Unhappy positions. Any sort of sadness or shame causes Starscream's wings to lower, which is universally normal Cybertronian behavior among those with movable backparts. Both small and large wings fall down slowly, and Starscream's posture slumps with them. He does not tremble because he is not fearful. The duration and lowness of his wings indicate how upset he is. When speaking of Megatron's death, the wings stay down for a moment of time until he refocuses. If Starscream is dejected, ashamed, or embarrassed, the wings will fall down even if for a short amount of time. Should Starscream switch emotions, the wings usually move slowly, as he himself is slow to shake off the unhappy emotions. With the cautious or curious position, Starscream's wings are all raised higher than usual, like an alerted animal. The smaller ones will be pricked forward to indicate the attention I mentioned before. If Starscream's going to sneak or tiptoe anywhere, his wings will look like this. If he is cautious about something, looking at potential danger, or for it, his wings are also in this position. He is worried and being extra observant. Dramatic positions. There are times when Starscream drops his wings, and while we would expect him to be in a negative mood, it is not always the case. Sometimes, if Starscream is feeling lively or perhaps playful, his wings will swing around with his movements. If he is telling a story and trying to act dramatic about it, the wings will also flop down when appropriate. This points out that sometimes he can be in a good mood while lowering his wings, but we should consider this rare. No smiles, and he is in a bad mood, but trying to hide it by acting mild. Unnatural positions. Let's cover some positions we see that are not natural to Starscream. One we discussed was Starscream lowering his large wings while keeping the smaller ones up. This never happens naturally, and he would have lowered the smaller ones if he had not planned a charade of innocence. When Starscream must lie down or lean against something, he will flatten out his wings to do so. When Starscream puts on the Apex armor, he actually lowers his wings so that they'll fit in. When Smokescreen knocks him out of it, his wings automatically snap up into the more comfortable position. When Starscream runs, his wings flop around outside his control, but they're usually pressed a bit inward, otherwise his shoulders would bump against them. Fear may also cause them to press more inward. Then, if Starscream is crammed into any space, his wings will fit wherever they can. The important thing to note is that Starscream is physically uncomfortable when his wings are forced against his will into any position. His wings are flexible and can go into any of these positions, but when a clamp presses his wings together, Starscream is bothered. He claims that they give him cricks, which is defined as a sharp, painful spasm of neck or back muscles. Starscream expresses that he is fine with the cuffs, but would really feel more comfortable if his wings were loose.
Is the clamp really necessary? I promise not to fly away. It's really giving me a crick.
I can shove you back in the trailer.
Pinpointing his different movements. 1. Fast switches. They indicate instability in Starscream's mood. If he is under stress and afraid of the characters around him, his wings can shoot up and down in violent surges of rage, worry, disappointment, etc. His body may also produce shakes, and the best example we have is the scene with Starscream and the Predacons. He's acting as a commanding figure, but he's afraid of them, and the emotions are leaking out through his body. Something that startles Starscream can also cause a quick movement, even a small one. Then slow changes. Starscream might be weighed down so much by his mood that he makes only slow movements. He may also just be very tense, so his body can only move stiffly, such as if he is seething mad. Twitches. A bob of his wings can indicate a mild discomfort, perhaps embarrassment. If it is an entire body twitch, however, with other signs of fear, then it is just that, fear and a want to escape the threat. Fluttering. Bursts of energy, from good to nervous, can make Starscream jittery. Everyone's favorite example seems to be the flutters Starscream does directly after being frightened, as he tries to brag to Shockwave. You can tell from his laugh that he's not truly happy, just trying to make a recovery after being publicly intimidated. It is likely that other bursts of energy would cause fluttering, such as if Starscream would ever be hyper or excited. Reading Starscream in a few scenes for practice and fun. Now that we've looked at all the positions and movements, let's analyze a few scenes and see what kind of things we can read off Starscream's body language. Alright, so I'm going to begin with the scene where Starscream comes back to the lab with Shockwave, Skylynx, and Darkseid. See what kind of mood we can read. Right now, okay, normal. All the wings are up, he's just doing his job, walking in. Nothing particular yet. Maybe a little tired leaning back, that's all.
Tinkering in your lab while I was toiling the field like a common drone. I mean, I seem to supply old bones.
So since Megatron died, their relationship has actually gotten better, and he's not as afraid of Shockwave as he used to be, so it can be a bit more casual around him.
To avoid detection, it is not logical to expect greater productivity at this point in time.
At least your new clone.
Yeah, he's just chilling, nothing, but pretty soon they're gonna, yeah. So when he was shocked, his wings went up. You know, the little tiny wings, they shot forward a bit. Okay, so the wings are pressed back a bit to show his nervousness. Okay, and now they're starting to go down. He's not liking what he's hearing, and the little wings are pressed inward, so he's still a bit nervous. Oh, they just shot up really fast. So it's all this. Okay, that's some of the dramatic positions there. Just a lot in general, the wings are pressed in. So he is kind of stressed. Oh, we got another flare there. Some drama flaring. Yep. So it's just a bunch of, there's anger, there's surprise, and constant fear. Right now, see, his wings are always inside, like always inward and pressed back. He's starting to gain his confidence, but then he speaks about Megatron, and there they go right down. And they're staying down for a little bit.
So that we may build an army of
Alright, so he's very confident still. His wings are all up.
Not if we handle this the right way.
Meaning?
Use your head.
They seem a bit higher than usual. Maybe a bit of alertness there. Like, look at the little small wings again. They're really perked. So I'm just gonna skip ahead. Okay, when they're looking around, you can definitely see the small wings. Like this entire episode, maybe, his small wings are just always really high because he's looking out for things.
Oh no, you're the mastermind who chose to experiment with synthetic
It doesn't really even seem to go away when he's arguing with
Thought
Knockout.
it was a good idea to dabble in voodoo.
I thought you said he had no spark.
Dark Energon.
You know, it's just constant attention. He's not, like, really scared of the Viacon hurting him. But out of the two of them, Starscream is the one who takes the most responsibility to get rid of these vampire zombies. He's the one who does the attacking. Knockout's just kind of like scared at the side, relying on him. Alright, we're gonna skip. Alright, so they're walking in the hall. Starscream's a little twitchy. A slight movement of the wing there. Again, some of that discomfort and worry that we talked about before.
And the ensuing feeding frenzy could turn this entire warship into a scrap heap. So now
Yeah, they are just, if you notice a bit right there, you can see they are pressed back a bit more than usual, and they just seem to stay in this constant state like that. Oh, they go down. Look how they just flop around when he's running. But they are pressed in still, even when he stands still like that.
Indeed, the end. If we are to become Terracon Chow.
Let's see if there's any change as he keeps talking to Knockout. I'm not seeing anything yet.
You're no breakdown. Though I must confess, I have always admired your lustrous finish.
We got a little bob of discomfort. He looks a bit more relaxed. The larger wings are spread out more, but the inner two are always pressed forward. Okay, so they just went inward more when he encountered Megatron.
Tell me what exactly is going on?
Now they're lowering. He's starting to
Nothing.
show his worry and act a bit innocent.
Funny, because the dark energon within my spark has been pulsing.
Allow me to
Okay,
handle this.
here we go. And the down. Alright, now let's have a look-see and compare the two different scenes where Megatron takes Starscream into a mine. So I'm just going to start in the you've hit rock bottom like scene where he's already getting Starscream in trouble. So a bit of twitches whenever Megatron says something that he's like, ah shit, I don't know what to say to that. In general, his wings are open, he's trying to appear confident, but you can see the inner ones are squeezing in.
Clearly.
He doesn't want to appear like he's been caught doing something wrong, so he's keeping them open.
Lord Megatron, I can explain.
Yeah, you're not going to see too much in this scene, nothing super dramatic, because he is just trying to appear innocent, confident, telling the truth. It's all lies. Okay, Megatron's starting to creep up and get into his space. The inner two are definitely betraying that he's scared right now.
Starscream, despite your treachery, I've allowed you to carry
Of course, everything's clear in the rest of his body language, his legs and his twitching, and he's starting to raise his arms a bit.
become tiresome, predictable. You've hit rock bottom.
Okay, now for sure. He's given up. He knows he can't get out of this, so he just squeezes them right back and he starts to beg. This episode begins with the two of them flying to around the mine. Starscream isn't getting any context. So the moment he sees like the hole,
Starscream.
this actually mirrors his position the first time he's taken into a mine. He's already starting to get worried. He's scrunching up, he's twitching.
Foreseen that my alternative super soldier experiment would encounter technical difficulties.
Resulting in the loss of the Insecticon hive and over half our remaining troops.
And he just gives up. He's just like, okay, I'm going to commit. I'm pathetic. I'm innocent. I'm not worth attacking. Don't do it. He wasn't even planning. He already beat him. We saw that at the end of episode 8. So
Most impressive.
he didn't need the worry. And he's a bit embarrassed about it now. He's trying to recover. And he's just following Megatron, looking around. But, you know, that nervousness, you can still see it's remaining because he's afraid of Predacons. And look at, you can see how he was twisting and stepping around them. Even when they're in their tubes, actually. That's how strong his phobia of them is.
Synthetic energon. Troops will be
The doctor has arrived. Okay, so Starscream's a bit more calm now.
Predacon army is ready for deployment.
Oh, they hear the Predacon coming in. His wings kind of, the little ones, all alert. He's trying to appear confident though. You can see this is a case where he's disguising. And until that happens, then it's just like, he's scared. They're pretty tightly pressed in. So this is all bad news for him. He's very scared of him. Doesn't want to get stepped on either. I mean, everybody is in shock at this actually. Almost like you can't really believe what you're seeing. It doesn't really show too much difference he kind of falls down, but you know, he can't believe that Megatron, like almighty Megatron, has actually been stabbed, and you know, he's flabbergasted. Overall, I would say the reason his wings aren't going all over the place is because of the denial. It's just like, is this real? Is this a dream? What the hell just happened?
My TCOG.
Yes.
Wings look pretty normal. He's confident that he's done the right thing. He doesn't yet realize the consequences.
A temporary setback. Other Autobots, other TCOGs. We shall find
He thinks he can just explain away everything.
Not
It hasn't hit him yet.
soon enough. Now.
Even when he's surrounded, it takes him a moment. He looks around. This is why he doesn't escape right away.
Autobots.
A pretty normal position, because he doesn't know nothing. He doesn't know anything's wrong with him yet. The moment he realizes his TCOG's gone, the wings go back. He's scared. He's worried. And, of course, of the Autobots, because they can catch him easily if they saw him. Oh, Bumblebee. We see Bumblebee's wings. They're down. His car door wings. Because he's sad. Okay, so we had Megatron dying. Let's see how Starscream looks when Megatron returns as his full self with Unicron's gone.
Indeed.
So all indication his wings are actually kind of perked up. He does seem happy and very alert about this.
And once again grind Cybertron under your mighty heel.
Of course, you can tell just besides his wing movement, you know, the way he jumps about, raises his fists, his voice.
Because I now know the true meaning of oppression.
Of course, his enthusiasm is about to be crushed by what Megatron's saying.
You've clearly been traumatized, Master.
So the news puts them sideways, and he's a bit dramatic right there. Okay, so when Megatron just did that quick movement, it actually scared Starscream a bit, because as happy as he seems to be, he's still very afraid of Megatron, especially, you know, he got even bigger than before. Starscream's only as tall as his hips now.
Yes, well.
You know, actually, it is really strange how quickly he wanted to rule the Decepticons again when he kind of completely gave up on that, didn't he, in Season 3? And for some reason, when he's approaching the throne, his wings are squeezed in. Yeah, so he's a bit nervous about something. You know, you wouldn't think based on his voice and what he's saying. And the moment he hears Predaking's wing flap. You know, this is actually the first time Starscream has heard Predaking in a long time. He thought he was dead or something on Earth. He had no idea Predaking was on Cybertron. So when he hears that noise, he just completely freezes up. So you can tell by his eyes that he's getting scared, but he's trying to play it off. He thinks he might be able to talk his way out of it, but he's not familiar with these guys. He's never had to convince them to not hurt him before. The wings are going sideways and they're squeezed against the throne, so they're a bit askew. But I think they were also askew because he's just so damn scared. He doesn't know what to do. He can't act cute for them because they don't think he's cute or anything. They just want to kill him. Well, attack him. We're not too sure.
You're pathetic.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.